Hello everyone, welcome to Let's Talk Before the Show. On today's episode, we're going over everything you need to know about the oldest series of memes and fun on this channel. What started off as a meme-like crazy show is becoming something much, much deeper, darker, and sinister. So sit back, grab your CD-ROMs and your Red Bulls for, some reason, as we discuss what you need to know before the show about EXE Files Reboot. First thing I want to discuss is how this show originally came to be. For those who don't know, I would say back maybe like 2017, I played a lot of Minecraft. And one of the series I did on Minecraft back then was actually called EXE Files. And that's where this show comes from. In 2017, when EXE Files actually first really, premiered, it was a show all about Panda going to EXE headquarters, getting cases, and solving cases. The twist was that most of those cases involved things like memes and jokes. So therefore, the show was mainly just a show all about memes, and it got kind of boring really fast, unfortunately. So for this show, EXE Files Reboot, while it's technically the reboot of that show, and I guess it's kind of franchise, even though it's not actually a franchise, don't quote me on that. But it's basically the same show, but with an entirely completely different story, plot, setting, that kind of thing. This show's also heavily revolving around the world of both Undertale and a little bit of Earthbound in some way. And you probably could already tell that from the reveal trailer when there was some laughter at the end. Roll the clip. So, there's definitely a lot of Undertale. It's mostly like 90% of it's Undertale, with like 10% of it being Earthbound related, I would say. Most of it probably isn't Earthbound related, but most of it is Undertale related in some way. And this is also to help cooperate the idea that that Undertale is celebrating its 5-year anniversary this year, which I thought was great, because, who doesn't love 5-year anniversaries, am I right? So therefore, the show is made to not only be completely different than its predecessor, but to also have a completely different relationship with a game franchise and whatnot. So that's a very big deal. Trust me. The next thing I want to discuss is the overall story of the show itself. There's quite an interesting story. As per the previous show, as I mentioned, it was all about going to EXE headquarters, getting cases, solving those cases, but using it as, a crap ton of memes and jokes as possible. This particular reboot of EXE Files is completely, and I'm gonna completely stress this, completely different than its predecessor. So allow me to just find the script here, wherever it is. It's somewhere, hold on. Oh, okay, there it is. So the story goes, Panda has, been out of work. He's been out of EXE headquarters for quite some time. And during this time, a unknown foe is sending chaos engulfing the world. And the only way to stop that chaos is for Panda to return to EXE headquarters for the first time in, 2 years. Technically 3 if you really think about it. And to collect the 12 files scattered across the planet. As mentioned in the reveal trailer, the files are scattered across the planet. So therefore, there are 12 unique files scattered all across the Minecraft world that is blocks. And all of them are unique in certain places, like ocean monuments, and temples, and caves, and stuff like that. And all of them have unique abilities to them. Some gain like health bonuses, some gain sprint bonuses, some gain attack bonuses, stuff like that. Now, I don't have all of the files that are going to be there currently written out, but I do have 2 of them that are written out, and I'm going to go ahead and share them with you. The first one is called the file of Sprint, and when the user of this file uses the file, of course, they see the power of speed as a tool of survival, gifted by the gods of the skies. And when this is used, that player or user will gain plus 10 speed to all of their stats. So as you can see, it's very RPG kind of styled in a way. That's not to say the show's completely RPG styled, it's just kind of, you know, specific for that. And the second one is the File of Happiness. The user of this file experiences the happiest thoughts of their target. If the user is charmed, they lose plus 3 to all stats. If they can make the dream come true, they get a healing buff, an additional plus 2 HP. So that would work more like a golden apple kind of thing in a certain way. There are 12 of these, they're all going to have unique characteristics to them. So I'm really interested to see what you guys think of those files when they get brought into the series, into the episodes, when the show eventually does come out. As far as setting go, settings most likely, again, it's going to be the Minecraft kind of base plant with all the biomes, caves, dungeons, stuff like that. But to really spice it up, I was thinking of using things like shader packs and resource packs that would definitely be able to make the episodes look a lot more polished, a lot more modern, a lot more upscaled. So with that out of the way, let me discuss episode layout as well as season layout. Now, as of right now, there isn't really a lot as to how many episodes there's going to be or how it's going to be laid out, because again, there isn't really a clear release date quite yet. But most likely that because there is 12 files, there's going to at least be 12 episodes, one for collecting each file. That makes perfect sense. And most likely, there'll probably be like 2 or 3 or one, anywhere from 1 to 2 other episodes after those 12 to kind of end the series. I'm not going to spoil what they are, what those last 2 are, because they're really good. I already have some pretty good ideas as to what I want to do with them. And as of right now, season-wise, EXE Files Reboot's only planned for 1 season right now. So, unless the fan reception's really good and you guys seem to like the show a lot, then who knows, maybe a second season will be in the works. But as of right now, and as it current stands, the show only plans to have 1 season. The next thing I wanted to talk about was regarding trailers. Specifically, that EXE Files Reboot will be the only show to have a second trailer. And the reasoning behind that is more just because of the fact that there wasn't really a lot of information conveyed in the reveal trailer, and I'd love to make a second trailer to kind of show off a little bit more as to what the show's going to be like, maybe show off fight scenes, maybe show off some adventure scenes, those kind of things, to kind of bring in more people and make the show seem like it's going to be a really good show, because I really hope that this show's going to be good. One of the things that I wanted to add in, more on the lines of my previous point, was that technically speaking, EXE Files Reboot can also be considered as a roleplay-like series, since pretty much it is my first take on a roleplay series to see what would a roleplay series be like, how would it work on a channel like this, and can I actually pull off a roleplay series? So that's basically a little bit of that. Just to let you know that yes, EXE Files Reboot is a roleplay series. It's not like a random meme series. No, it's an actual role-playing like series. And the final thing I would like to discuss is the big one, and that is the release date. When is the soonest you can expect EXE Files Reboot to make its debut? As of right now, as I mentioned earlier, there clearly is no confirmed release date yet, and there isn't really one that I could soonest say the show can be airing. But what I can say is that most likely EXE Files Reboot probably won't air within the first half of this year, as the first half of this year is going to be taken up by Mod Gear, which most likely is going to air, if I calculated it right, I think it's like February to June, if I think. There'll be more about that in Let's Talk Mod Gear when that comes out next week. But most likely EXE Files Reboot won't be airing in the first half of this year due to that reason. It also probably won't be airing in the summer. And the reason why in the summer is because A, most likely during the summer is when the second trailer for the show is going to come out, is roughly around the summertime-ish, probably like in the middle, June, July maybe. And most of the stuff that'd be finalized for the show, like final assets, final texture packs and shaders, and final propping stuff, and maybe casting members if we ever get any, those kind of things are going to be getting finalized right around that time, so we can start getting some filming and production actually starting to get really snapping in and just started going completely crazy. So most likely, EXE Files Reboot is looking probably ending sometime towards the end of this year. I would say maybe as soon as, I don't know, September. September probably is like the soonest we can expect the show to air, I would imagine. And if it wasn't in September, then most likely it would be in October. And if it got like really delayed, then it'd be November. But I'm pretty sure it's going to sometime be around September or October. So probably not too far away from after when the next schooling year kind of starts, when the start of the last quarter of fourth quarter of the year, that kind of thing. But yeah, so that's basically going to wrap up this Let's Talk. So just to recap, just to recap everything that we have covered. We discussed how the show originally became to be with the original EXE files, which you can find, I think it's in a playlist on the channel, in the channel playlist tab, so if you want to go look at that, then please do. We also talked about how the show is heavily inspired by Undertale to help celebrate the 5-year anniversary of Undertale, and how the show is meant to be a roleplay based series. It's my first attempt at one, so let's hope it goes well. We also discussed what the story is. We discussed how you have to collect the 12 files to stop the big bad guy, stuff like that. I labeled some of the files, so that way you guys can get a decent idea as to what to expect. Labeled some settings like shaders, resource packs, how those are going to be incorporated as well. We also talked about the episode layout to see how many episodes there probably will be, and explain that there probably only will be one season unless the fan reception is really high. I discussed that there was going to be a second trailer for the show later down the line in 2020, so most likely during the summer, most likely. And I also recapped on when the possible release date of the show will probably be, which will probably be at the start of fourth quarter or September of 2020 at its earliest, with October 2020 being the latest it could probably release. But most likely speaking, it will be September, probably like early September, as that way the show can finish on time before the end of the year. So, yeah. But anyway, with that is going to conclude this Let's Talk before the show. Let me know what you guys thought of the show, and if you did enjoy any of the things mentioned in this video, make sure you leave a like on the video so that you're excited for the show when it does air in 9 months. Like, yeah, I know, we're going to wait 9 months for this stuff. But anyway, with that is going to conclude Let's Talk before the show. And I really hope you guys all enjoyed, and I will hopefully see you all again soon. My name is Panda Power Sauce. Stay saucy. Bye-bye.